You may have heard some corny or cheesy pickup lines before, but what about lines that were generated by a computer?
Probably would have worked better than the ones that I used back in the day. John's with details on a hilarious new book.
Yeah, guys, picture it. This is 20 years ago. We're all still single.
Yeah.
I approach you guys, one of you in a club, and I say, "You look like a stealth assassin from the clouds."
What?
That is one of the lines that came out of the project by Janelle Shane, who is joining us live via Zoom this morning. Good morning, Janelle. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so this is, so essentially, to kind of give it an umbrella, you are an AI expert, you're a scientist, you're also a writer. You plugged all of, you had, I guess, AI come up with pickup lines. How did you get that idea? What made you decide to do that?
Well, I'd actually tried it earlier with a much simpler AI, and the pickup lines were pretty incoherent because this thing had to try to learn English just from a few example pickup lines that I gave it. So I wanted to try again a couple years later with one of these bigger, more modern AIs that had learned from a whole bunch of internet text.
Yeah.
And so it was really to see, like, would it get any better?
So the computers, I guess, take their knowledge from stuff they gather it from the internet, and they think, okay, this is how humans talk, and I'm going to spit out this line.
Exactly. Its goal is to try to predict what comes next in like a chunk of internet text. So it has to try and figure out what kind of a document it is, because there's everything in there. There's jokes, there's news stories, and so it has to kind of try and figure out the context of what I'm asking it to complete.
Were the pickup lines better, worse, or what you expected when you started seeing the results?
You know, I know there are lists of pickup lines out there that these algorithms would have seen in their internet training data. So I was not excited to do this experiment because I thought it was just going to regurgitate human written pickup lines, which are terrible. Yeah. But I was really surprised.
What was your favorite that you saw?
Well, I'm really fond of, I'm losing my voice from all the screaming your hotness is causing me to do.
That's awesome. Okay, I like that one. I like that one.
I like this one, by the way. I love you. I don't care if you're a doggo in a trench coat.
Yeah.
Like, so based on your expertise, how do you surmise that the computer came up with that? A doggo in a trench coat?
Well, it's possible that it wasn't quite sure what was going on and was just grabbing phrases that tended to go together. It's sometimes really hard to tell where these things come from. There was another one that had you imitate your best Albert Einstein voice. I wouldn't change a thing.
And it said to use Albert Einstein's voice in doing it?
Yes.
That is so strange. So I guess looking at it at the bigger picture, does this tell us that we're not as close to computers taking over the world as some people think?
It really does. When you give these, these text-generating algorithms can write really human-like text, but when you start to probe them in certain ways, you realize how much they're guessing and how much they're sounding correct rather than actually being correct.
Mm-hmm. What is the worst real-life pickup line somebody's ever given you?
I try to block them out of my mind. Just, this is a case where AI is not up to imitating human level. I mean, it's trying. It can't imitate human speech effectively, but I would argue it has somehow surpassed human performance, nevertheless. That is true. One area.
This is true. I did find one, though, that I think would work on me at least. Not that anybody's ever tried to pick me up. You're looking good today. Want snacks?
Also works in first grade.
Yeah, the book is called, this is one of the lines too. The book is called "You Look Like a Thing and I Love You." Where can people get it, Janelle?
So great.
Your local bookstore.
Perfect.
Perfect. Anywhere they're sold.
And it's out in paperback now, correct?
Right.
Fantastic. Janelle Shane, thank you so much. And before we let you go, I just want to say, you look like Jesus if you were a butler in a Russian mansion.
Just can't handle it.
That was one of the lines, too. Janelle, thank you so much, guys.
All right, thank you.
Man.
A butler?
Isn't that crazy? She's right, though. It's
Insane.
not much worse than actual human lines.
I mean,
No,
if
no.
we're being honest.
Couple shots of tequila. I've heard some stuff.
The snack
like that.
one would work.
Yeah, the snack one would always.
I look good? Well, yes.
Yeah.
I would like some goldfish.
Would like some goldfish.